Support for this podcast comes from the St. Alphonsus Neuroscience Institute, offering technology to provide treatment for neurological, neurosurgical, and neurointerventional conditions. This includes a dedicated neurotrauma ICU for critical care of the brain or spine and a 24/7 stroke team. More at stalphonsus.org.
Start the new year with a commitment to independent journalism. When you become a supporter of Boise State Public Radio, you ensure deeper reporting, stronger investigations, and the trusted coverage you rely on every day.
I became a sustaining member today when I realized I start every day with Boise State Public Radio.
Your gift keeps fact-based news available to everyone in our region. Begin the new year by becoming a donor at boisestatepublicradio.org.
From Boise State Public Radio, this is The Connector. It's Idaho's daily news. Good morning. I'm George Prentice. Well, Idaho has some relatively low gas prices, but not so much for some of our neighboring states. We'll tell you why. Plus, we'll ask why it took so long to get some new job numbers for Idaho. It is Thursday, the 8th of January. Here we go with today's stories. In advance of next week's opening of the Idaho legislature, healthcare was one of the main topics in a forum held by the League of Women Voters, as Jackson Holmes reports.
Legislators from District 28 in south central Idaho, which includes Power County, and District 29 in Pocatello, offered some insight into what Idahoans can expect from the 2026 legislative session. One priority outlined is the state's decreasing number of obstetricians. The abortion ban passed in 2022 resulted in 35% of providers leaving the state. That's according to a 2025 study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association. Senator Jim Guthrie, a Republican, says there are ways to create legislation that favors both sides of the abortion issue.
Supporting and protecting moms and victims and indirectly doctors, in my opinion, is being pro-life too. And I strongly believe there's a balance that reasonable lawmakers can arrive at.
Lawmakers like Guthrie are willing to discuss amendments to the abortion laws. Representative Dustin Manwaring says it's hard to start those conversations.
It's very difficult to create language. And I think what we've seen the legislature do the last few years is kind of punt this issue down.
Manwaring spoke on an abortion initiative that has more than 50,000 signatures. If passed by voters in November, Idaho legislators would be unable to limit abortion before fetal viability.
I don't support the substance of it for the reason that I do not support elective abortion. I do not believe in the reproductive freedom that should include the right to terminate pregnancy.
The 2026 session begins Monday, January 12th. Jackson Holmes, Boise State Public Radio News.
Elections may seem far away considering we're still shaking off the results of the general election just 9 weeks ago, but Idaho's May primary is expected to be robust, and with that in mind, State Superintendent of Public Instruction Debbie Critchfield announced yesterday that she is running for re-election.
From the very beginning, my focus has been simple: getting education back to the basics, especially reading.
And GOP primaries are usually always interesting. 4 years ago, Critchfield won the Republican primary, defeating Brandon Durst and Sherry Ybarra, who was at the time the incumbent superintendent of schools. Meanwhile, another high-profile political figure has announced she's moved away from the city that she once fought hard to be part of its leadership. You'll remember that Lisa Sanchez had served on the Boise City Council, but then she lost that seat when she inadvertently moved out of her district. She quickly moved back, but sued the city to try to get reinstated, but Ada County Court and state Supreme Court rulings denied that attempt. This past November, she mounted another campaign to try to get elected to the council, but lost that race. And now, on social media, Sanchez has announced that she has moved to San Antonio, Texas. Gas prices in Idaho are about $2.80 for a gallon of unleaded this morning. That's almost 22 cents lower than just a month ago. But gas prices vary widely across the region. Yvette Fernandez reports on why some drivers are indeed paying more.
The average gallon of gas nationally costs $2.81, according to the Gas Buddy price tracking app. And there's a stark divide in what drivers in Mountain West states pay. Most drivers in Idaho, Colorado, and New Mexico pay close to the average or below, but many drivers in Nevada and Arizona pay much more. Patrick DeHaan with Gas Buddy says refineries in California are a main supplier of gas for the Southwest, but closing amid strict regulations.
With 20% of the gasoline production now offline because of these shutdowns, every day as a result of these refinery shutdowns, prices will generally be slightly higher than they would otherwise be.
The governors of Arizona and Nevada in 2024 sent a bipartisan letter urging California lawmakers to reconsider regulations that could lower supplies and drive up prices. Other states in our region rely on different sources, including Canadian pipelines, which lower costs for drivers. For the Mountain West News Bureau, I'm Yvette Fernandez.
Some of Idaho's lowest gas prices are in Kootenai County this morning. Some of the highest are in Blaine County. It has been a while since we've seen official job numbers from the State Department of Labor. What with last fall's federal government shutdown, tracking job numbers was on hold. In fact, the last numbers we saw were published in September. But yesterday, Idaho officials published new data for November, and the unemployment rate was 3.7%. The same rate that was published in September. There were job gains in the construction and accommodation and food service sectors. There were job losses in natural resources, the arts, and wholesale trade. Our drier than normal winter across the Mountain West has left a number of popular ski areas offering limited terrain to visitors. Stina Sig reports that one resort has been filling barrels with snow from the woods and then hauling them out to the trails.
Many are making snow at night now that it's finally cold enough. At Arapahoe Basin, staff are gathering up powder caught in snow fences. And Wolf Creek ski area has a unique snow-saving technique, described by owner Randall Davy Pitcher.
Using trash cans and moving snow out of the woods. This year we've moved about 40,000 barrels of snow onto the trails,
helping make Wolf Creek one of the only resorts in the state with all its trails open. I'm Stina Sieg for the Mountain West News Bureau.
And that is today's episode of The Connector. I'm George Prentice. We'll see you back here come Friday. By the way, you can stay in touch with the news anytime from our website, boisestatepublicradio.org. In the meantime, can you tell your friends and family about The Connector and how they can find it wherever they find their favorite podcasts? For now, from me to you, thanks for listening.
Looking for another podcast to listen to? Check out The Nature of Idaho from our partner station KISU in Eastern Idaho. Join hosts Peter Pruitt and Dr. Leif Tapanilla as they share fascinating stories from the Gem State's great outdoors, celebrating Idaho's wildlife, landscape, and natural wonders. That's The Nature of Idaho from KISU. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.